This video is probably going to be all over the place in many ways, but I was sick. I'm much better now. I had a sinus infection and I still feel the aftermath of that. It's not completely gone, but it's much better and I feel close to normal like before. I haven't really worked on a big project these past days because I was still recovering, but I was bird watching a lot and I do have a lot of clips of that. I started the process of spring cleaning in a way. I cleaned my kitchen with the help of my mom. I also didn't really leave the house much, and when I was well enough to leave the house, I didn't leave the village. So I think I was stuck here over 10 days in a row, which is a lot. But yesterday I went on a little thrifting shopping spree with my mom and I found a few really nice things. First of all, I found this bag. I think it is real leather. There is no tag whatsoever, no brand, no material, nothing. It's completely unknown. It has a zipper on top and then there's a little second zipper inside and a zipper in the back, and it's just plain black and really minimalistic and simple. It is in really good condition, and what's really interesting is the type of closure, because these are just these metal knobs that you put through some holes in the strap. So I paid €3 for the bag, and then I found this little glass dish, brown dish. Originally there were 2 of these, but I dropped one in the store, which was really embarrassing and awkward. They were really nice about it, so I still got one of them. And this was 30 cents. And then I got this little chrome candlestick holder, and this was 70 cents. Also really cheap. Then onto my personal highlight of this thrift haul are these boots. I don't know if you can see them very well like this, but here they are. These are vintage leather boots in black with this really chunky heel. There is a seam right down the middle of the toes, and they're leather. They are made in France and they don't have any kind of brand on them. I think they're vintage, the way they look. They don't look worn at all. Like tiny bits of wear on the soles, but nothing major. I had really similar boots to them, but they weren't originally vintage. They were like a replica. And I didn't really wear them because I felt like they were trying too hard. And when I found these, I thought they are truly vintage. I feel like that's more fitting to what I'm going for with my style. So I was extremely happy to find these also in my size. And they were €10, which is also a phenomenal price for something like this. And I'm so looking forward to styling these with some kind of 90s inspired outfit. So, and the last thing I found is this denim jacket. It's a very classic denim jacket, bomber cut. It is by Bershka, which is fast fashion, but I don't actually mind buying fast fashion secondhand as long as the quality is decent and it is good material, and this is 100% cotton. I think the quality is fine. I don't see any like ripped seams, and it fits me like a glove. It has the perfect length of sleeves, and it's just this really classic denim jacket cut, which I do like. It is in the size S. It feels almost new, as if it hasn't been washed after it's been produced. I think that is also a really nice find, and this was €5, so that's also a nice price. I think I paid exactly €20 for all of these things that I found. So then I also wanted to give a quick update on my reading and my knitting, because I was doing that a lot while I was sick and just quickly go through everything I read. So I read My Nemesis by Germaine Greig. It is about female rivalry in a way, but through a kind of feminist lens. So that was really interesting. I enjoyed it. And I also think this is a phenomenal cover. So judging this book by its cover, it's a really good book. I also really like the writing. So then I read A Matter of Appearance by Emily Wells. This is about chronic illness and how that affects an individual in this type of society that we live in. So that was really interesting for me because I'm chronically ill as well. And I did put in a lot of tabs if you're chronically ill yourself or you want to educate yourself more on chronic illness. This is really good. Then I read Vladimir Nabokov's Pnin, and this was also really enjoyable. I have read Machenya and now Pnin, and I think I'm going to face Lolita at some point. There isn't a lot happening in this. It's just like a character description, but it's really good and it's really funny also. Tragic in a way, but also funny. So that was also really good. Then I read Faserland by Christian Kracht. This is a German new classic in a way. It was a bit over the top for me. There's a lot of drugs involved in this whole book. And I'm not a fan of drugs, and I'm also not a fan of people taking drugs and like the lifestyle. Like I do get the intention of taking drugs. That's very clear to me, but I don't like drugs as some kind of glorified hedonistic lifestyle. I wasn't really connecting that much, but he writes in a very funny way. Yeah, I don't know if that's translated into English, but I guess so. And then I read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and I have this really pretty vintage edition. It's German, it's the German translation. I found it in a bookstore that gives its books away for free, so that's nice. I really like dystopian fiction. I think it's such an interesting topic to think about. And I also really enjoyed 1984 by George Orwell. I also enjoyed this one. I think there were many really good ideas in here. The story in itself didn't really make sense to me, but the world building is really interesting and absurd, and I liked that, but like the whole storyline is just a bit flat and unrealistic, even if you get yourself into the minds of the types of people that are living in this kind of world. It just didn't really make sense to me, but that could also be me. I think these were all of the books I was reading. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but currently I'm reading this book, which I don't really know how to say. I think Implosion, that's how I would say it in German. And I'm reading it in German. My dad got this for me. And it's by Olga Tokarczuk, who wrote Drive Your Plows Over the Bones of the Dead. And it was one of my favorite books of last year and so far. And I'm over half of it through. I'm also really enjoying this one. It's really dark and mystical and funny, but in a really dark and sinister way. So I feel like I haven't really read a really bad book in a while, which is nice. And while I'm already giving updates, I am going to give a knitting update as well. So I finished these brown socks that I was knitting in the last video. They are great. I already worn them and I washed them already, so I can wear them again. And then while I was sick, I started another pair of socks because I want to get through all of my sock wool, and I have to like design around the amounts that I have. So I made these striped little socks, and I think they are the cutest. I already wore them, so they look a bit worn, but they are really, really cute. I'm still working on this sweater. It's a cable knit sweater with this kind of woven stitch all over. This is the back panel, it's almost finished. I just have to do the decreases for the neckline. I knit this bottom up. I've already finished the front panel. Looks like this. And I already blocked this because I wasn't sure about the width of it when it was finished. I did the math myself, of course, but after blocking it looks fine. Maybe I will put this away after I finished the back panel because it is really springy now, and if I continue knitting this, I probably won't wear it when I finished it because it is too warm then. So maybe I will put it away until autumn and then finish it. I'm not sure. And then lastly, this is the current state of the green sweater that I'm knitting with Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk Hold Single. And this is just a simple oversized sweater that isn't as heavy and warm as most of my other sweaters, so I can hopefully wear this throughout spring. I started knitting this while starting to watch Twin Peaks, which I have also finished while I was sick, and I'm completely obsessed now. So the Twin Peaks fever really got me. That's that.